I'm here with Matt Mitchell, who is the Water Facilities Operations Manager for Hot Springs Utilities. Welcome, Matt.
Hey Terry, nice to be with you.
It's a beautiful day here at the water treatment plant. This
Yeah,
is specifically the Lakeside Water Treatment Plant. We also have the Washita, and
correct.
between the two, they serve the entire water system for the city of Hot Springs.
We serve approximately 92,000 customers, but on any given day with the tourism and people that come in from outside the Hot Springs area, service area to work, we could be serving upwards to 250,000 people on any given day. So we service quite a bit, and our distribution system encompasses a huge area of Garland County as well.
So that certainly makes your job challenging and interesting.
There's many challenges, and there's a lot of other people that are involved in that, including the distribution crew, the treatment plant crews, and on the back end of it, the wastewater crews. So everything that we do influences all the other things that comprise the city's municipal services.
Yes, and the Utilities Department comprises one of the biggest departments for the city of
That's
Hot
correct.
Springs. Today, we're going to talk about a very important topic, voluntary water conservation, and why that needs to be a habit for us all.
Absolutely. Water conservation is not something just to save yourselves money, but it's something that allows us to be good stewards of the resource. And I think many times we take for granted that we have plenty of water, but there are some restrictions that we have. The water has to be treated, and there's many things that go into the treatment, and there's also many things that go into the supplying that water to the system.
So it certainly helps us to be educated as to why, with all the beautiful lakes and bodies of water that surround the Hot Springs area, why is water supply sometimes a crucial issue?
Well, water supply is restricted by many government agencies. So just because you see water doesn't mean we can always access that water. We have specific allocations of water that we're allowed to take out, and we have to work within those restraints. We also have limitations of our facilities. The Lakeside plant has a capability of doing an average of about 5 million gallons per day. The Washita plant, I think it has a capacity of about 22.6 million gallons per day. But as with anything, it's hard to run those plants at full capacity all the time. It's much better on the facilities to run at a reasonable level and average out so that we're not stressing our infrastructure. Also, we have restrictions on how we convey that water from production plant to the distribution system. So there's some limitations there. So water conservation and good stewardship and good practices means a healthy system for everybody, not just the municipality, but the consumer as well.
And let's talk about history. Has the water system ever been taxed in the past?
There's been some occasions. I remember in 2011, 2012, were very, very hot and dry, and there were some times and some days, on particular days, that we were pushed pretty hard. Also, the Majestic fire that happened 2 or 3 years ago, several million gallons of water were used to fight that fire. So there are some situations in which the system can be taxed, and water conservation and good practices of stewardship help to mitigate those situations.
Because you've already done improvements to the plants and increased efficiencies as much as you possibly can, is that correct?
We've done, as far as capacity with what we have to work with right now, we've done about all we can do. We're continually looking for ways to make the process more efficient. We're looking for ways that we can save water ourselves in the process. And we're currently looking at some technologies and new chemicals that will allow us to use less water in the process of making water. So we're always striving to look at new technologies and new methods to make our job more efficient so that we can save as much water as possible.
So you're doing everything you can on our end. And so what are some of the things that the public can do, simple things to conserve water?
Well, for one is to your watering practices of your lawn. It's mid-May right now. This is the time of year when people are starting to get their sprinkler systems hooked up for their lawns, filling up their swimming pools. People are getting out and washing cars. You know, planning your watering, your irrigation, it's better to water for a long period of time once or twice a week than it is to water for a short period of time every day. It's better for the grass. Several of the lawn services in town provide consulting on that. They can tell you what your lawn needs are, when you should water, how often you should water, and also irrigation if you have gardens. Planning that out, being more thoughtful in what your necessary needs are. Also planting plants that are native to this area or that are hybridized to tolerate drought so that you don't have to use a lot of extra water to keep those plants alive. And also, if you're going to wash a car, do it on the lawn. Save the water. Catch as much of it as you can. Use it as irrigation for your plants. There are several things. Use a blower or a broom to clean your driveway versus using the water hose. It's a lot quicker and it saves water.
Those are some great tips. What about using a hose versus just an old-fashioned watering can?
There's nothing that beats the watering can. You never overwater with a watering can, and you control exactly how much water you're putting on your plants much better. The old methods are sometimes the best methods.
That is so true. Faucets and showers are another area that we could touch on.
I have teenage girls, so I have to consistently get onto them about keep your showers short. So if you have children at home, try to keep your showers as short as possible. Also use low flow faucet heads. Be mindful when you're just using water around the house, washing dishes. Try to conserve as much water. You will see it on your bill, and it believe it or not, over the course of a week or a month, it makes a huge difference in the amount of water that's saved in the system.
A lot of people are very creative too at reusing water
Absolutely.
in different ways.
Absolutely. A lot of people catch water, or like I was saying, if you're washing even dishwater. I know my grandmother, she used to wash dishes by hand, and she'd save that water and use it on her plants, or she would use it in some other. So there's many ways that you can save water and reuse that water.
Again, sometimes we can learn from the old-fashioned ways that are the best.
I think sometimes conveniences of life, we fail to realize what stewardship truly is, and that's just taking care and using to the utmost what we have.
I think you mentioned the word stewardship. Thank you for reminding us that it's really up to all of us to do what we can to help our water system to perform at as best as it can to meet the needs of everyone. And as you say, as a bonus, if we do so, it saves everyone money.
It saves everyone money, it saves the system money, but most of all, it's just protecting our God-given resource of water. Mm-hmm. Even though there's water everywhere, there's only so much of it that we can use to treat and send out to the public.
Yes, and the headlines are always that water is the most important resource for cities these days.
Absolutely, and in the future, water will be the new oil. I mean, out west, there is actually wars going on, political wars over water. That's something that we don't know anything about, and through good stewardship practices, hopefully we never will.
Thankfully, we have not had to experience drought in this area for any length of time, but there are always future weather patterns that can change.
Absolutely. We just come out of an El Nino pattern that usually leads to some hot, dry summers. I look for this summer to be one of those, maybe the start of 2 or 3 hot, dry summers. So good practices now will mean saving water and conserving water and having water available for the summers to come.
Yes, so voluntary water conservation, as you say, making it a habit involves the whole family and teaching the next generation on down the line so that it becomes something that we do together. It's a priority of both the Hot Springs Board of Directors and the staff to do everything that we can to provide safe, potable water for the population.
Absolutely. We can do all we can do. We can give suggestions, but a good stewardship of the resource really starts on the individual level. It's a commitment to say, I'm going to do this and make it a practice so that it's second nature and that we don't have to think about conserving water. We just actually do it because we know it's the right thing to do.
And looking ahead, we will be needing to add to our water supply past the Ouachita and Lakeside plants.
Yeah, as the city and the area grows, we have some restrictions on what we currently have. We've recently been given approval by the Corps of Engineers for a new water treatment allocation. There's some study being done on where that intake may be and where the plant may be located, and if that gets approved, there'll be some very thorough planning, some thoughtful planning to go into that so that we achieve system health and overall consistency and a good quality source of water for the city and its customers.
Matt, thanks today for reminding us of this all-important topic, something that touches everyone.
Thank you so much, Terry. Appreciate you.
Next week, we'll bring you more city news.